Time to talk a little football, guys, and it's a great pleasure to welcome to the Jock Line Coach Brett Williams, one-time standout at Florida State University, member of the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame with his current high school team, which is a very good high school football team. But they play in a different category from most. This is Lighthouse Christian's coach, Brett Williams. Where in Florida are you at the moment, Coach?
We are in supposed to be sunny and warm Panama City Beach, but it still feels a lot like Missouri for some reason.
Well, but that's more football weather than anything else, and that's pretty good. Tell the folks a little bit about why Lighthouse Christian is down in Panama City and what you're planning on doing down there.
So every year they have a national homeschool football, basically national championship tournament. And through, max preps and all these different, and head-to-head battles and stuff for us homeschool teams that play each other during the year, they develop like a ranking, kind of like the old AP voting system. And the top 16 teams in the country get invited to Florida to play in the tournament, and the top 4 teams play for the national championship. And we're currently ranked number 2 in the country, and we're playing the number 3 ranked team today at 7 o'clock. And if we win, we'll play the winner of the number 1 and number 4 ranked game on Saturday at 7 for the national championship. So it's kind of crunch time for us. Trying to enjoy the beach and get a lot of practice and stay focused. That is kind of a challenge with high school kids, but I think we did a pretty good job this week.
Do I understand you correctly? You have 48 hours and you play another game?
Yes. It's actually one of the things we've been talking about, getting them to rearrange down here, and so just for the safety of players. But we've done it that way for years, and it's not ideal. It changes the way you coach. You got to run the ball a lot, and slow the clock. Make the game speed up and run some time off the clock so your guys have enough legs to play the second game. But kind of something everybody deals with down here, so. It's not really an advantage for anybody.
I just don't know how it's possible to even do something like that.
Yeah, Coach, do the injuries stack up and that kind of thing?
Honestly, they haven't, surprisingly, and that's been my concerns my first year as head coach, and that was one of my concerns with coming down here is, last year I was the defensive coordinator and we played, and with the second game we played, the other team would throw a pass, and my DBs would just stand there. I said, guys, why didn't you go make the tackle? And they're like, Coach, I wanted to, but my legs wouldn't move.
The body's willing, but the mind is willing, but the body isn't working right. Brett, this year, I may be wrong in terms of the chronology on this, but it looked like this year that Lighthouse Christian played a lot more of the Misha teams here in the state of Missouri than they have in the past. And that may or may not be correct. But is the plan somewhere along the line for Lighthouse Christian to continue playing that number of Misha schools during the course of your season?
We would love to get as many as we can schedule. We are approved Misha competition, but we're not allowed to compete, obviously, in the district stuff, and which is a bummer. But we're really thankful we get to play those teams. But we love to play them because typically, if you're playing public schools and stuff like that, it's going to be a better chance of going against better competition, and it gets us ready for when we come down to Florida. And too, our homeschool kids, it's good for them. We like playing public schools because they like to try to earn some respect. Anytime you hear somebody's on the homeschool football team, that people kind of look at you funny. But so we're always going to try to play as many Misha schools as we can, save on gas money as well. So. We enjoy it. We hope to continue that in the future.
You might explain just a little bit about what the ruling is, because there are Summit Christian and Westminster Christian and schools like this do compete in Misha. What's the difference between Lighthouse Christian and all those others?
Well, we don't have like a facility like that. That's ours, like a brick and mortar building. We have a co-op that meets one day a week at a church. And that's pretty much it. And that's, the reason they have the rules in place the way they do is so the homeschool teams can't form club teams and, pull kids from everywhere and then give them an unfair advantage, in competing in things. And so that's basically the rules there is, if you go to a school, a full-time accredited school, more than certain hours a week, you're ineligible to play for the homeschool team. And, I understand why they do that. It keeps it a fair playing field.
Speaking of keeping, keep our audience attuned as to how you gain your players. And now it's homeschooled, of course, but what's the recruiting level? What's the general area in which you get these kids?
We have kids that drive in from Lebanon, and as far as Lebanon is, I think, is probably the farthest we have. They'll come in and go to our co-op and play with us, and so it's a big commitment. A lot of homeschool families are looking for homeschool athletics to be a part of. That's a lot of reasons families don't pursue homeschool. They don't they don't want to miss out on the athletic environment of public school, but we get kids that drive in pretty far to be a part of our co-op and what we're doing on the football field as well, and so and we're hoping to grow that in the future.
Brett, you might tell the folks a little bit about yourself and how you got involved as now the head coach, but the former line coach at Lighthouse Christian. My family moved here from South Florida, where I coached football down there and had a business and stuff like that. So we started homeschooling down there. We really liked it, and we came up here, and I heard they had a homeschool football team, and I was kind of unsure about it because any homeschool football team I saw in the past wasn't very good. So I was like, I don't know if I want my boys playing there. And so, anyways, I went out and watched the practice, and I was like, wow, they've got some good players and get after it, and and so I kind of fell in love with the program, and I started coaching the first year we moved up here, and just kind of stuck ever since. And then the head coaching position opened up, and everybody kind of looked at me like they expected me to take it, so I did. Now, you certainly have a football background yourself, too, especially at the college level. And help me out now, where you are right now, how close is that to Tallahassee, your alma mater, geographically?
We're about an hour and a half from there. And I was hoping to take our team over there and give them a tour and stuff of Florida State and the football facilities and all that stuff. And but just with COVID and everything, they won't let tours happen. But hopefully next year we can get them over there and kind of give them that experience. We'll be really looking forward to that.
I know that Coach Bowden was down with COVID, but I think he's begun to recover from it now. But that would be a heck of an experience for the kids to go over there and see Doak Campbell Stadium, and maybe you wouldn't see the guy ride out on the pony and fire.
You love that, don't you?
I think that is the greatest opening ceremony going in college football. Yeah, as a player at Florida State, did you ever get a chance to see the guy ride out and throw that flaming spear into the ground?
Oh, absolutely. We run out on that. We run out on the field. We line the sideline. They kind of keep everybody back, not so they don't spook the horse. And he runs out there and throws the spear in the ground. As soon as the spear hits the ground, the whole stand, everybody in the stand yells. And I tell you what, it gets the blood pumping.
Oh, Coach, Ned thinks that's the greatest thing in college football. He talks about it every year, and that you got to experience it. I love that you just you should see his face right now. He's so fired up.
Whoever came up with that concept has to be paid forever, because that is a tremendous way to open up.
It's powerful. There's no doubt.
It's fabulous.
Yeah, it's a really cool tradition there, because we have the full blessing of the Seminole tribe of Florida, and it's actually it's a really special program. You have to have great grades, a lot of community service, to even be accepted to be to try out to be the guy who rides the horse. And then everything they do, as far as their dress and how they decorate the horse, is all approved by the Seminole tribe. And so it's a cool way for us to honor them as well. And it works out great for everybody.
And that is what you just brought up then, one of the little-known aspects of, the NCAA, you've got to do away with your Native American titles and all that. North Dakota State had to drop their Sioux, and just one example. But when it came down to Florida State, you got to drop your name. The Seminole Nation said, no, heavens no, this is an honor. We love it.
The relevancy and keeps it active, because it's not, it's a dying tribe. It's not a growing tribe, so it keeps it relevant. I love that. For you who played there and just told that wonderful story, that gives, and that's listening to someone who's been there instead of somebody in the media, and that's the refreshing part about.
Amen.
Yeah, that's the key.
Thank you. That is exactly right. Brett, when you finished up at Florida State, what was your professional football background?
I got drafted in the 4th round to the Kansas City Chiefs, and I played 2 full seasons there. Got hurt in my 3rd season, kind of injured a ligament on a knee that I'd already hurt in college, and so it was kind of hard to overcome, and that was kind of it for me there. So I played basically for Coach Vermeil's last 3 years there in Kansas City. He was a great coach to play for. I really enjoyed my time there, and got to play with a lot of great players too. And then so from after that, I went into working in ministry and coaching football, and pretty much I've dabbled in a little bit of everything. So, but yeah, it was a great experience, and I was always glad I got to live my childhood dream playing in the NFL, and thankful for everything I learned while I was there.
You were around Bobby Bowden and the system and his Fellowship of Christian Athletes love that he has, and his Christian testimony and helping players. I'm sure that had a major impact on you, but let's talk about the field a bit. When you were playing, did you want to beat Miami or Florida more?
Well, the funny is that we wanted to beat them both really bad, but so I always tell everybody, we had like a respect for Miami. Like there was a rivalry there and a respect, but for the Gators, there was a hatred there.
So, we all resemble that remark up here too.
So anyway, we were down here in Florida practicing this week, and some of my guys went and bought like Florida Gator shirts and stuff, and I just kind of looked at them nasty. They're like, "Why is Coach looking at me that way?"
Yeah, they're not playing tomorrow. I understand. Just kick them off the team. Don't even put up with it.
Yeah. Soon as this playoffs is over, you guys are out of here. No.
Yeah, I understand that hatred. I possess that with a particular group that grew up north of us.
Kirk, who's talking to his is Ohio State and Michigan.
Yeah.
And being an Ohio native, I said the bad word, Michigan, but you won't say it.
TTUM, baby. The team up north. I got the biggest kick out of my dear friend Marty Prather this past week. He said, I'll be the first to chip in to keep Harbaugh as coach of the team up north, because Ohio State fans will rally to pay his salary because they just own him right now. It's bad. But when you look at the Florida State rivalry, the Miami, as a national college football fan that I am, it was so fun. The Deion Sanders era, that whole thing that went on at Florida State, and then the Miami guys with how they always ramped it up. But Florida just kept winning with Tebow and just doing those things. That had to chap you a little bit, Coach.
When people bring up the Tebow years, I always remind them of my years where I never lost to the Gators. So I have to put that back in. So
Game on.
The Garnet and the Gold
has spoken. We have enormous pride that you are ranked number 2 in the country right now.
I am going to predict that even and they will, as with Lighthouse Christian plays for a championship on Saturday night. During the day, Coach Williams will be watching Clemson and Florida State and pulling for Florida State to win that one. I just have a feeling that's going to happen, right?
Well, I'll try to tune in. I don't know how long I'll be able to.
You got 5 games in 4 days. Jeez.
Yeah. Well, Clemson's at their high point, and we're probably as low as we've been in a long time. I don't know how long that game will be competitive, but I think Coach Norvell down there at Florida State will get them going in the right direction eventually. It's just going to take a while.
Coach, thank you very much for taking time to visit with us, and much good luck to Lighthouse Christian in their championship hopes. We know it's going to be a winner regardless of what happens.
Yeah, we're excited to be down here representing Southwest Missouri and hope to bring a title back home.